Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the fourth Future Tourism Leaders Workshop held for these 2 days in March 8th and 9th, 2023, co-hosted by JICA, the Kyoto University of Foreign Studies, and the UNWTO. I'm going to be your host, your MC, your facilitator for these 2 days. My name is Eric Hawkinson. Please call me Eric. I'm a teacher at the Kyoto University of Foreign Studies and a learning futurist. We have a great program set up for you for these next 2 days, including a bunch of workshops, some online events like you're watching now, and some gatherings of students from all over the world in Asia for some discussions on the future of the tourism and hospitality industry. We have 2 tracks. One, which we invite you, anybody and everybody, to come help us and join the discussions around sustainable tourism, the future of tourism, and virtual tourism is going to be another topic that we'll be talking about during these 2 days. And you can join the conversation and watch those discussions and presentations online here on YouTube. You can also sign up as a student or professional in our certificate course during these 2 days, where we'll be going into Zoom and having live discussions with one another and learning a series of virtual tourism skills and thinking about the future of tourism, sustainable tourism, to the lens of virtual and augmented reality. This event started many years ago. It's been online just for the past couple of years because of COVID, but we're looking to help support the future of tourism, helping to support students of the tourism and hospitality industry, and try to encourage more sustainable and equitable places, outcomes for everyone involved in those industries. We're going to be focusing in on sustainable tourism in this session today in our YouTube session. We'll also be looking through the lens of sustainable tourism through the emerging technologies such as virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and so forth in our Zoom sessions later on. We have such a wide range and diverse group of people joining us here on YouTube, but also in our Zoom sessions that will be happening over these next 2 days from all of these countries and all of these universities and more. We hope that you would speak up early and often in the chat here on YouTube, in our online discussions, and when we join in Zoom to have our discussions face to face. Today, right now, is our first session of these 2 days that we'll be going into Zoom for a session this afternoon and in tomorrow morning, but we invite you to come back tomorrow afternoon to see what our students, what our participants have created together using these technologies, these emerging technologies that I mentioned before, and see a showcase of virtual tours of all of our participants from around the world in those countries that I just showed you. Today, we have a great lineup of speakers for you from many of our partner universities from here at the Kyoto University of Foreign Studies through a research project that we started in 2018 called the Heritage Tourism Research Project. All of those partner universities will be giving presentations, some of them by their students and some of them by their faculty. A whole wide range of issues connected with the theme of a post-COVID world and a future of sustainable tourism. I've already seen a lot of these presentations, and they are excellent, wide, diverse range of discussions and ideas and topics around this. And we hope to glean a lot of information from each other, from all of these points in the world, dealing with these new ideas, these new problems, these new challenges, these new risks related to the post-COVID world in the tourism industry. For now, I don't want to introduce all of them one by one, so right now, let me show you a quick teaser of some of the speakers and some of the places and titles of presentations you're going to see in today's presentations. Well, doesn't that look fantastic? We hope that you will join in the chat while these presentations are going, because these presenters are here with us, watching with you and looking to open up a dialogue with you as we watch these pre-recorded videos in the YouTube chat. After that, we're going to have a workshop online. Our Zoom participants are going to come in and we're going to learn a little bit about virtual tourism and how it connects to sustainable tourism. We invite you back tomorrow on this same channel to see what our participants have come up with and what they have learned through our workshops. And we hope that you become not just a watcher, but a participant in the future of tourism by joining us in the YouTube chat below this video, or you can find it very quickly and easily at chat.tomorrowtourism.com. And now, without further ado, let us begin our series of talks for our first session of the 4th Future Tourism Leaders Workshop 2023. Enjoy.
Hello everyone, I'm Takahiro Ono, President of Kyoto University of Foreign Studies. As the opening of the meeting, I'd like to say a few words by way of greeting. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us today from all over the world. Our staff and I would like to express our great appreciation to all of you for participating in this symposium and the workshops. And we are very happy to be able to hold this event together with you. I would also like to thank all of you who kindly made time in your busy schedule to speak at the symposium. The pandemic of COVID-19, which was identified at the end of 2019 and spread globally from the beginning of 2020, has radically changed the way we used to live our lives, which we had previously considered normal. Not only were international exchanges disrupted, but lockdown and self-restraints on going out were also imposed in many countries and regions, which led to stagnation of economic activities and social upheaval for a while. Since then, with the development of vaccines and the establishment of various coping strategies, despite experiencing several outbreaks of infection, we have finally found a way to deal with the COVID-19. We cannot say that we are back to the world as before, but we are entering a post-COVID world. As we embrace the new world, we believe it is of great significance that the United Nations World Tourism Organization Regional Support Office for Asia and the Pacific, the Japan International Cooperation Agency, and Kyoto University of Foreign Studies jointly host the 4th Future Tourism Leaders Workshop, Sustainable Tourism in the Post-COVID World Today. The purpose of this symposium and the workshops is to talk and discuss the future of sustainable tourism in the post-COVID world and the new possibilities of the tourism phenomenon. Based on the social situation, and especially the current state of tourism and tourism-related industries, which have been greatly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. We will also ask workshop participants to create virtual tours with state-of-the-art technology, and some of the results will be presented on the second day of the symposium. Through these talks, discussions, and workshops, we believe we can propose a model for the future of tourism, which is a new kind of tourism different from what we have seen in the past. Although time is limited, we hope this symposium and the workshops will be fruitful for all of you. Thank you very much for your attention.
Good morning, everybody. I am Marian Magsino from the UNWTO Regional Support Office for Asia and the Pacific, and today we will be providing an overview on international tourism. This lecture is part of the 4th Future Tourism Leaders Workshop. This lecture is divided into 5 parts. First, an introduction of who we are. Second, tourism and the Sustainable Development Goals. Third, the impacts of COVID-19. Fourth, UNWTO Tourism Data Dashboard. And fifth, the current data on international tourism. The UN World Tourism Organization is a specialized UN agency mandated to promote responsible, sustainable, and universally accessible tourism. UNWTO has 160 member states, 6 associate members, 2 observers, and over 500 affiliate members from the private sector. UNWTO's headquarters is located in Madrid, Spain, where a regional department for Asia and the Pacific is present. The organization has 2 regional offices, one in the Middle East and the other in Asia and the Pacific, here in Nara, Japan. UNWTO works on 6 pillars of action. First, mainstreaming tourism in the global agenda. Tourism is a driver of growth and development and needs to be included as a priority in national and international economic and development policies. Second, improving tourism competitiveness, making the sector more competitive through knowledge creation and exchange, human resource development, and the promotion of excellence in areas such as policy planning, sustainable tourism development, marketing and promotion, product development, and risk and crisis management. Third, promoting sustainable tourism development, supporting policies and practices which make optimal use of environmental resources, respect the cultural identity and authenticity of host communities, and provide socio-economic benefits for all. Next is advancing tourism's contribution to poverty reduction and development. Maximizing the sector's contribution to achieving the SDGs and promoting the inclusion of tourism in the wider development agenda. Fifth is fostering knowledge, education, and capacity building, helping member states to assess and address their needs in tourism, education, and training, as well as providing networks for knowledge creation and exchange. And lastly, building partnerships, engaging with the private sector, regional and local tourism organizations, academia and research institutions, civil society, and the wider UN system. The Regional Support Office for Asia and the Pacific is tasked to promote and develop sustainable tourism to contribute to economic development and international understanding in the Asia-Pacific region. Established in 1995, RSOAP activities include research and technical cooperation, promotion of UNWTO initiatives and activities, and partnership building. With the scope of the mission of RSOAP, the office collaborated in the organization of various symposiums such as that on sustainable tourism management, another on gastronomy tourism, sustainable tourism, and culture during the 7th World Gastronomy Tourism Forum held in Nara. RSOAP has been making various efforts to promote evidence-based sustainable tourism management, collaborating with the Japan Tourism Agency. Among others, the Japan Sustainable Tourism Standard for Destinations was produced in June 2020, and later a handbook on sustainable area management using tourism was also created to complete the previous publication. Tourism has the potential to contribute directly or indirectly to all sustainable development goals. In particular, tourism has been included as a means to achieve goals 8, 12, and 14 on inclusive and sustainable economic growth, sustainable consumption and production, and the sustainable use of oceans and marine resources, respectively. Sustainable tourism should advocate for three things: maintaining essential ecological processes and helping to conserve natural heritage and biodiversity, respecting the socio-cultural authenticity of host communities, conserving their built and living cultural heritage and traditional values, and ensuring viable long-term economic operations, providing socioeconomic benefits to all, including stable employment and income-earning opportunities and social services to host communities and contributing to poverty alleviation. UNWTO has created a Tourism for SDGs platform, an online co-creation platform for all to make tourism matter on the journey to 2030. Here you can find research, education and training, events, initiatives, policy papers, company CSRs, and stories that are shared by different people from different countries. We invite you to also share your initiatives to reaching and using tourism to achieve sustainable development goals. The COVID-19 impacts to tourism in 2020 brought international tourism back to the levels of 30 years ago. The coronavirus pandemic caused a 72% decline in international tourist arrivals in 2020 and 71% in 2021. This represents a loss of 2.1 billion international arrivals in both years combined. As a result, export revenues from international tourism plunged 63% in 2020 and 61% in 2021, which amounts to a combined loss of $2.1 trillion in this 2-year period. This immense shock translated into a drop of 850 million to 1.1 billion international tourists and the loss of 910 billion to 1.2 trillion in export revenues from tourism, putting 100 to 120 million direct tourism jobs at risk. This is particularly critical as around 80% of all tourism businesses are MSMEs. In 2020, the International Civil Aviation Organization also reported that airports lost 111 billion in revenue against business as usual. Airlines lost $371 billion and cruise industry lost 99.5% of its revenue. Early in the pandemic, 90% of countries were closed, and such as the World Heritage Sites and about 85,000 museums. Revenue losses lead to site deterioration or closures. Heritage sites also found themselves at the epicenter of a multifaceted challenge, as closed attractions and few visitors meant that livelihoods were compromised, complicating as well site management. UNWTO has expressed concern that collapse of cultural tourism jeopardizes the livelihoods of millions of cultural professionals. Digital innovation and adoption were important factors in the growth up to 2019. In particular, technological advances related to transportation, communication, finance, and automation spawned a wide range of innovations that supported the development of new or improved tourism products. during the COVID-19, we have seen the following trends on digitalization and as well as the use of internet. First, increased internet access. Increased internet access used the foundation for the spread of technologies such as contactless payments and check-in at hotels and airports, which enabled seamless travel such as biometric check-in and security. Second, rapid testing and proof of vaccination technology solutions also began to appear in 2020 to address COVID-19 mitigation needs, such as rapid testing, contract tracing, and the beginnings of a vaccine passport. Third, virtual experiences. Increased digitalization also helped establish virtual tourism products. Although not perfect replacement for in-person experiences, virtual experiences offer ways to market and promote destinations, stimulate interest, and educate people who may become more interested later. The use of technologies including the Internet of Things, location-based services, artificial intelligence, augmented and virtual reality, and blockchain technology has resulted in a more attractive, efficient, inclusive, and sustainable tourism offer than its predecessor. Digitalization has a positive environmental impact and can yet have a greater one with innovations in manufacturing, smart assets, and efficient use of resources, contributing to a more sustainable industry footprint. One of the things that UNWTO has developed during the COVID-19 is the UNWTO Tourism Data Dashboard. It provides statistics and insights on key indicators for inbound and outbound tourism at the global, regional, and national levels. Data covers tourist arrivals, tourism share of exports, and contribution to GDP, source markets, seasonality, and accommodation. According to preliminary estimates, over 900 million tourists traveled internationally in 2022, twice as many as in 2021, though 37% fewer than in the pre-pandemic year. Two special modules present data on the impact of COVID-19 on tourism. The first is UNWTO IATA Destination Tracker, the first one-stop shop for global information on COVID-19 related travel regulations. It aims to build confidence among travelers and businesses and support policymaking by providing a global overview of travel restrictions worldwide. The second is the UNWTO Tourism Recovery Tracker. The UNWTO Tourism Recovery Tracker compiles all the relevant data in one place, giving governments and the private businesses the ability to track the recovery of tourism at a global and regional level, alongside information on top destinations for international tourism. International tourism saw stronger than expected results in 2022, backed by large pent-up demand and the easing of travel restrictions in a large number of countries. The UNWTO IATA Destination Tracker includes data on countries with no COVID-19 related travel restrictions, health indicators, current air travel regulations, destination-specific restrictions, and other health regulations. The most comprehensive tourism dashboard to date, the UNWTO Recovery Tracker, is the result of a partnership between international organizations and the private sector. It covers key tourism performance indicators by month, regions, and sub-regions, allowing for a real-time comparison of the sector recovery across the world and the industries. International tourism saw stronger than expected results in 2022. 96 destinations had no COVID-19 travel restrictions in December 2022, according to the UNWTO IATA Destination Travel Tracker. International tourism is also expected to consolidate its recovery in 2023, particularly in Asia and the Pacific. Based on UNWTO scenario, international tourist arrivals could reach 80 to 95% of pre-pandemic numbers in 2023. Some notes on the international tourism. First, industry indicators continue to show recovery momentum from January to November 2022. Second, the recent reopening of several Asian source markets and destinations will contribute to consolidating the recovery in 2023. However, economic, health, and geopolitical headwinds could weigh on the sustained recovery of international tourism and confidence levels in 2023. Domestic tourism will continue to support tourism recovery, fueled by demand for destinations closer to home as tourists look for open-air activities, nature-based products, and rural tourism. All this data is available through the UNWTO Tourism Barometer. One report that we would like to share with you today is the Baseline Report on Climate Action and Tourism. To support tourism stakeholders, accelerate climate action to ensure a responsible recovery from COVID-19 through a green transition, a global survey was undertaken during the months of June and August 2021 to better understand the ongoing climate efforts in the tourism sector. The milestone survey was completed by 1,139 representatives from destinations, businesses, and supporting organizations from 131 countries. This report provides a summary of the findings and insights gathered from these respondents on the state of climate action planning, mitigation efforts, measurement of emissions, adaptation, and engagement of the stakeholders. As part of their narrative inputs, many respondents reported impacts from climate change having affected their business, environment, and livelihood. For example, businesses indicated that it is now more expensive to operate a tourism business due to closures induced by extreme events or given the changing prices of scarce resources. What types of destinations have climate action plans? The survey also shows almost 1/3 of destinations report having a climate action plan. National governments, followed by DMOs, are most likely to have a climate action plan. However, the majority of responding destinations report that they are taking action without the guidelines of any plan. Tourism stakeholders are engaging in climate action. However, it is not integrated in any formal plan or paper. The results also show that many organizations lack the expertise to advance in the development and implementation of climate action, although more than half of responding businesses and destinations indicated having sustainability staff. However, as mentioned, they are acting without any plan. The way forward requires capacity building and practical approaches through 5 things: guidance on climate action, capacity building on measurement of emissions, promotion of the disclosure of data on these emissions. Fourth is the promotion of investments towards carbon removal to achieve the net zero by 2030, and creation of collaboration platforms or avenues where private stakeholders can reach out and show how they are doing or learn from others on how they are doing their climate actions. In summary, sustainable tourism is defined as a tourism that takes full account of its current and future economic, social, and environmental impacts, addressing the needs of the visitor, the industry, the environment, and the host communities. Sustainable tourism is not a particular kind of travel. It is not only ecotourism or tourism that is self-sustaining. Rather, all types of tourism can also become sustainable if they help achieve the SDGs, revive the environment, or help communities thrive. The sector features as a target in 3 of the 17 SDGs, namely SDG 8 on decent work and economic growth, 12 on responsible consumption and production, and 14 on life below water. Yet with its wide reach and impact, the sector can and must contribute directly and indirectly to the achievement of all 17 SDGs, from generating inclusive growth and eradicating extreme poverty to combat climate change, from fostering gender equality to conserving marine and terrestrial ecosystems, and from promoting dialogue among diverse cultures to enhancing mutual understanding and peace. The materials and information you have seen today are all available through the UNWTO website and e-library, which holds various resources related to tourism development, management, and promotion. We thank you for your attention for today's lecture, and we hope that you have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Midori Barada. I'm working at the Economic Development Department of Japan International Cooperation Agency. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, I put 3 goals for this presentation. First goal is to understand why sustainable tourism is important for everyone, especially after this COVID-19 pandemic crisis. And the second goal is to know about the JICA's initiatives for sustainable tourism. And lastly, to envision how you can be part of sustainable tourism development. So let's get started. So first is about what is sustainable tourism and why it is important. What is sustainable tourism? We hear a lot about sustainable tourism these days, and according to the definition by the United Nations World Tourism Organizations, as well as the UN Environment Program, sustainable tourism is defined as tourism that takes full account of its current and future economic, social, and environmental impacts, addressing the needs of visitors, industry, and the environment, and the host communities. So this definition, I tried to visualize how it is conceptualized. So we have the stakeholder of the tourism sector, here visitor, of course, and the tourism industry, and also the receiving host communities and the surrounding environment. So sustainable tourism is a concept that taking into account of the economy, society, and environmental aspect, and responding to the needs, the current and the future needs of these all stakeholders. So this is sustainable tourism in the middle of these 3 triple bottom lines. And what is the difference between responsible tourism and sustainable tourism, which is sometimes confusing? So in my opinion, sustainable tourism is the ultimate goal that we aim to achieve. And to achieve this sustainable tourism, responsible tourism is a way that all stakeholders take responsibility for achieving sustainable tourism and to create better places to live in, and also for people to visit. So this was mentioned in the Cape Town Declaration, and it's important to note that the better places for people to live in comes before to visit, because the place cannot be sustainable if it is not a good place for the people to live in. So in a nutshell, we can say that the sustainable tourism is the ultimate goal, and responsible tourism is a way to achieve this goal. why sustainable tourism is important. So I explained in the previous slide about the 3 pillars of sustainable tourism. In case if the focus on the economy is much larger than other aspects, what will happen? So excessive visitors can lead to the over-tourism, causing various problems such as traffic congestion, pollution, damage on the local culture and natural assets. So this picture on the right side is from the Barcelona in Spain. And this graffiti really shows about the frustration and the unsatisfaction of the people living. So such situation is really not sustainable for the destination. So we really have to manage it. And the tourism leakage is also another key issue of the tourism, where large part of the tourism revenue goes outside the destinations. So it is not benefiting the host communities and local economies. This will compound the problems that I mentioned here. Another challenge for the tourism is resilience. As you can see from the COVID-19 pandemic, the tourism sector is very prone to the external shocks. And here in this slide, you can see the 3 major crises in the past that shocked the tourism sector. So you can see the vertical line is about the cumulative change of the international travel arrivals, and the horizontal one is about the duration, how much it took to recover from the crisis. So for the case of SARS, it took 11 months for recovery. And for case of September 11 attacks, it took 14 months. And the global economic crisis in 2009 took 19 months for the recovery. So for the COVID pandemic, in 2020, the number of the international arrivals declined like 72% from the previous year. So it is much bigger than this percentage. And now we are almost reaching 36 months since the declaration of the pandemic, and still we didn't fully recover from the shock, which means that you can imagine how big is the shock of this pandemic. As the COVID-19 made really unprecedented shocks for the tourism sector, it is now making it at a turning point. So here this summarizing how the tourism concept and the surrounding environment is shifting due to the COVID-19 crisis. So concept of the tourism used to be based on the physical traveling. So the primary function is to meet demand from the outside region in order to generate spending within the region. But now it's shifting to more like mixture of the real and also the physical traveling. So with the advancement of the technology and the COVID travel restrictions accelerated about the adaptation of the new technology in tourism sector and the emergences of the new concepts like virtual tourism or metaverse or experiencing the immersive traveling using the virtual reality is getting common. So the concept of the tourism is now changing. It doesn't have to be physical transition or physical move. So this is a key concept that we should take into account. Also, the change of the traveler expectation is also changing. That it used to be more like travelers choosing the destination depends on the focus on the convenience or accessibility or the affordability of the traveling. But now it's more shifting to focus on the destination's quality or values, more like substantial value. So it doesn't have to be only the health and the sanitation regulations, but I think more travelers are focusing on choosing the destination that is matching with their special interest and appreciating the value, authenticity, and sustainability of the destinations. The relationship between tourist and destination is also changing due to this crisis. Destinations used to prioritizing attracting visitors from outside the regions. But now, because of the pandemic, people think destination really want to attract the valuable customers for the destinations. The visitors who understand the true value of the destination and continue the relationship becomes a supporter of the region. They prefer to have such visitors, not just like one-time comer. So the relationship between the tourists, visitors, and also the destinations are also shifting. So in a nutshell, digitalization and sustainable tourism have become key initiatives. And for those who don't embrace changes to the business model, might be excluded from the business from now on. So now we'd like to explain about what JICA is doing for sustainable tourism. So for those who are not familiar with the JICA's operation, this is the overview of JICA. JICA is an incorporated administrative agency in managing Japan's official development aid. And we have three main programs, which is technical cooperation, and finance and investment cooperation, which we call ODA loans, and also grant assistance. And in addition to these three main programs, we have also JICA volunteer programs, citizen participation, and other various programs. JICA is aiming to achieve both human security and also quality growth. And to do so, we've set four main pillars: people and prosperity, peace, and planet. And under these four pillars, we set the strategic program called JICA's Global Agenda, and we are trying to achieve the goal for human security and quality growth. Sustainable tourism development is part of the private sector development and as a pillar of prosperity. So why JICA is working on the sustainable tourism? As you know, tourism is accounting for almost 10% of the global GDP and also the global job opportunities. So it has a great impact on the economic growth, but at the same time, to protect the environment and culture and the lives of the people, it is also very important driver for the sustainable development. So JICA would like to support the tourism and maximize its positive impact. But at the same time, we'd like to minimize its negative impact. So JICA is supporting the tourism administration in each country to make foundation of the sustainable tourism development and taking into consideration of the new trends of the industry that I have explained now. So tourism is mainly driven by the private sector actors, but tourism administration also plays very crucial role to making the foundation of the tourism development in each country. So JICA is partnering with the government entity in each country to support their key function, that is policy making, resource management, capacity development and human resource development, and also the infrastructure. So this is the overview of JICA's development cooperation for the sustainable tourism. We aim to achieve and maintain inclusive, sustainable, and resilient growth by tackling economic, social, and environmental challenges through the effective destination management. And we have set 4 cooperation pillars according to the role of the tourism administration. The first one is policy development and institutional development. The second one is resource management. So it's including conservation and sustainable utilization and development. And also third pillar is the human resource development and also the capacity building of stakeholders. The last pillar is strengthening the capacity to plan, develop, manage, and operate necessary infrastructures. And the cross-cutting pillar is the tourism resilience building that is really crucial to make the sustainable tourism. JICA is having a cooperation partnership with UNWTO and also other important partners like academics, tourism business, and all other stakeholders. This is a summary of the JICA's tourism projects around the world, but this is just the example of what we are doing. So, for example, for the tourism policy development, we are currently supporting Jordan to make a tourism master plan. And also in Kyrgyz, in Central Asia, we are working for the regional master plan for the World Heritage Site in Chui. In Mongolia, we are sending an expert to make an advisory service for the sustainable tourism development policy. For example, in South America, in Peru, we are supporting the project for sustainable development of the cultural landscape of the Upper Utcubamba Valley, working with the local communities, and also providing support for the human resource development through the on-site trainings and also the remote and also the training program in Japan. We do also provide the assistance for making necessary infrastructures, such as a shelter for covering the valuable cultural assets and the heritages, also the museums, and also the other necessary infrastructures. Our value for the tourism support and the cooperation is inclusiveness. We think that the local communities are the core of the tourism development. They are the people who know the best about their destinations, their culture. They can be the storyteller about their lives and heritages. So we put the emphasis on working with the local community, and we always put a partnership with them. Sustainability is another key pillar for the JICA's cooperation for the tourism. JICA is partnering with UNWTO, and we examine the relationship between tourism and also the sustainable development goals. It is mentioned that the tourism is clearly mentioned in 3 goals, which is Goal 8, Goal 12, and Goal 14. But we have found out that the tourism can impact not only 3 goals, but also 17 goals, that all of the SDG can be accelerated by the tourism project. So currently we are working on making the set of the indicators that we can use for the project development to assess the impact of the tourism to the SDGs. And here you can see simplified the model of the tourism value chain. Tourism is not only about the traveling or accommodation, food, beverage, or leisure activities. But these businesses are also supported by other key industries such as agriculture, fisheries, food industries, processing, also the key infrastructure like water, energy, transportation, human resource development, capacity building, banking, insurance, and many other sectors, including furniture, handicrafts, and technological and communications. And these activities are also underpinned by the existing assets, like natural resources and also the cultural resources. So all this system is connected with SDGs, and it is really important to have the balance among the economic, social, and environmental aspects. Resilience is also a key value for the JICA's Tourism Corporation. And in 2021, JICA made a learning material that explains the key 4 phases of tourism crisis management. So when crisis happens, it's important to respond and recovery, but the tourism crisis management is not only post-incident, it is pre-incident preparation, and also the risk reduction is also very important. So JICA made a learning material about explaining about these 4 key steps of tourism crisis management, and it is available in multi languages. So here I put the QR code for the Japanese version and also the English version. So maybe please you can access through this QR code to check this video material. Also, JICA made a pilot project in Jamaica, working with the local institutes and making a workshop of drafting the tourism crisis management plans based on the experience in Japan. So what you can do to promote sustainable tourism? You might think that, okay, sustainable tourism is something that is far, but it is actually not very far. You can join this sustainable tourism value chain by multiple gateways. For example, here, this picture I took from the tourism white paper issued by Japan tourism agencies, but it really well summarizes the relationship among the tourist, industries, residents, and also the region. And you can be part of any of these actors. If you are the tourist, you can contribute to the destination management by spending the money in the destination, but when you choose the destination, you can choose the sustainable destinations, the destination that is working hard for making the area more sustainable. And also, if you are working part of the industries, you can make a difference by procuring local products so that more expenditure can remain in the sector, in the locality. Also, if you are residents, you can also think more about it is not about just receiving the visitors, but you can create the content that how to make a value utilizing the existing resources in the destination, and you can be the driving force and curate the tourism sector in your own destination. And in the region, like DMO or municipalities, they can manage the multiple stakeholders to make the destination more sustainable. So tourism is open for everyone, and there are many ways that you can participate to make the truly sustainable destinations. So this is my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoy the workshop. Thank you so much.
Hello, hi everyone. This is the group from Chiang Mai Universities, particularly from the Faculty of Humanities to Chiang Mai Universities. We are a group of students and professors who will be presenting on the topic of festival tourism in Thailand and the question of sustainability. The case from the Festival of Lights, which is called in Thai Loi Krathong. Just to give you some background of this Festival of Lights, so the Festival of Lights and Loi Krathong has been long inherited traditions in Thailand, not just in Thailand, but many areas in mainland Southeast Asia as well. But in the version of Thailand, usually people will celebrate on the full moon days in November, and in different regions they celebrate in a different ways as well. The cases that our students will be presenting in today is one from Chiang Mai City, which is the northern city of Thailand, and the other one is from the phenomenon of Bangkok. Both cases will show a different perspective of these festivals, where there are also a lot of tourists as well as the local people celebrating together. The context that we're trying to focus is the context after or in the transitions of COVID-19 situations, as well as the rise of ecological concerns that we can find in the practices of these kind of festivals. So without further ado, I will pass this presentation on to my students who are presenting the two cases for you. If you have any questions, feel free to probably ask after this video. We'll be more than happy to help clarify some of the points. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Vanyapha Paisan, and today I'm going to present the environmental effects in SDG number 15, Life Below Water of Loi Krathong Festival in post-COVID-19. After I observed Loi Krathong Festival in last November, I found that many people engage in this festival more than ever, and the garbages of Loi Krathong Festival are rising up, and it greatly destroys the environment, especially water and life below it. Even though Thai people try to use more biodegradable materials such as the banana trunk krathong and braid krathong, the large number of krathong still has a great impact on environment. This is the traditional krathong made of the banana trunk decorated with flowers, banana leaves, candles, and incense. Even though this kind of krathong takes a certain amount of time to degrade, it contains a sharp, non-biodegradable materials like nails, staples, and pin to stick flowers and banana leaves to the body. These materials cause the tremendous marine life, including endangered species such as green sea turtles, dolphins, whales, and manatees, to death. The CNA, Channel News Asia, reported that the trash from Loi Krathong Festival obstructed the marine life's gastrointestinal system and will eventually kill them. And this is the example case of green sea turtle found dead from swallowing nails, pins, and banana leaves that are the result from this festival as well. Next, here is the picture of braid krathong. Most people think that braid krathong is environmentally friendly since it can use to both feed the aquatic life and preserving this traditional festival. But it actually is the most destroying material, since in braid, it contains an organic substance, which are the greatest food source for the bacteria in water. And these bacteria will turn the water into polluted water and take away the oxygen, which can extremely harm the livelihood and the habitat of aquatic life. And this is over 1 million amount of krathong that collected as a rubbish. And from all of the information I mentioned earlier, can be concluded that no matter what krathong are made of, The large amount number of krathong exceeds what the river can naturally deal with. Thank you very much for your listening.
Hi everyone, my name is Kim Tirito. You can call me Julia, and I'm gonna share you about my first time experience in Lycanol Festival. So I had visited to Thailand as a vacation with my family, but I never had a chance to participate in Lycanol Festival. And now I'm a student at my university, and I heard that the Loincadon was a very famous festival from my Thai friends. So I wanted to know, how the festival look like and how people celebrate. And among the festival, I heard that the festival in Chiang Mai is most famous one. So, but unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to participate because after the semester break, I have to come back to Bangkok because my family lives there. So I only had a chance to participate the one in Bangkok. So how is it? It was pretty quite fun and interesting. And also I wanted to see about the Thai culture and the Loincadon culture and also the history of Loincadon festival and how people celebrate it. And then the firework was the most interesting part for me, and I was very happy to join the Lankano Festival because I had a chance to see the firework and also the food. They are really amazing and delicious. So when I arrived there, I think around 5 p.m. because I have to leave from my home early because it was pretty quite far. And there are three famous spots in Bangkok to celebrate the National Festival. I chose the one in Icon Siam because I left the Icon Siam shopping mall and there is also a Chao Phraya River. So I thought that it would be, quite interesting. So I chose that one. And to go there, I had to take MRT and BTS. On my way, I saw like a lot of people, not only Thai, also like Myanmar, Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. They are also ready to go, and some of them are wearing their traditional dress. So it was interesting for me. And when I arrived there, they explained about the history of the Rankadol, and also they explained about the the differences between each place of celebrating the Rankadol festival. I mean, the one in Bangkok is different to the one in Chiang Mai because like they use the different kind of lanterns. Yes, I learned about that. So this is the night view of the Lankadon spot at Icon Siam. This is what I took around that time. I think it was around 8 p.m. So there are just a few people, but around 11 and 12, like they are really crowded. So after that photo, I didn't have a chance to take photos because I was enjoying the festival. So I took this photo, as to clear from YouTube. So this is the how people like lighting their lantern and throwing in the water. And the food, this was my favorite part of the festival. And I go see like there are a big food market. They sold different kind of food. Like they are all delicious. So this is what I ate. Yeah, after that I'm quite full. And I also have to chance to see the cultural things. This is the lanterns they use, to throw in the water. This is what they decorated in Icon Siam during the festival. And some of the people wearing like that, their own traditional dress. But if I have a chance, I wanted to try too. And I saw the people, during the festival, like didn't wear the mask, but some of the people, including me, were wearing the mask. So I was wondering about the, post-COVID era effect to us and also, how impact to the tourism industry because the Asian countries are severely impacted by COVID pandemic. So some people are still concerned about, even to hop on the plane or go on a vacation. But we are still doing the social distancing and getting COVID vaccines during the post-COVID era. But it's difficult to follow the rules during the festivals and events. So I was wondering about how to make people confident about their health, safety and security. This is just my idea, pop up while enjoying the Rakaton festival. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Panjang Ecotourism Village is located in Girikerto Village, Turi District, Sleman Regency, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. The village has a rich history and cultural heritage that dates back to the 17th century. Today, Panjang Tourism Village is a popular destination for tourists who are interested in learning about Japanese culture and history. Visitors can explore the village's traditional houses, participate in traditional activities such as batik making, traditional dance performance, and sample local cuisine. Panjang Tourism Village is also well known for its ecotourism system. Ecotourism in Panjang Village can be a wonderful way to experience the natural beauty and cultural heritage of this unique area while supporting sustainable development and conservation efforts. Not only that, Panjang Village is also known for its popular snake fruit, which we also call rice salad. Ecotourism centered around snake fruit could offer visitors a unique opportunity to learn about the local fruit and its production while also supporting sustainable farming practices. Some potential ecotourism activities focused on the snake fruit in Panjang Village might include snake fruit plantation tours, snake fruit tasting, snake fruit cooking classes, snake fruit festivals, and homestays. By focusing ecotourism efforts around snake fruit, Panjang Village could promote the conservation of the local environment and the preservation of traditional farming practices. It could also create new economic opportunities for local farmers and support the development of sustainable agriculture practices. This village has also been recognized for its effort to preserve and promote its cultural heritage. In 2010, Panjang was awarded the Adipura Award for its cleanliness and environmental conservation efforts. And in 2014, it was designated as a heritage village by the Indonesian government. This tourism village was first proposed by the LPGP Surakarta NGO in 2010, which at the time was assisting the community due to the eruption of Mount Merapi. LPTP Surakarta accompanied the Pancho Hamlet community from the time they were evacuated until they were safe from the eruption, which lasted until 2011. As time went by, the team from LPTP Surakarta saw the potential that could be developed into a tourist attraction from the resource possessed by the Pancho Hamlet. In relation to this, the team from LPTP Surakarta invited representatives of the Pancho Hamlet residents to identify the potential that existed here. The potential that was successfully identified included plantations, rice fields, livestock, rivers, and so on. After receiving assistance from LPTP Surakarta, the Pancho Hamlet was officially designated as a tourism village on October 14, 2012.
But then, the COVID starts to rise. This pandemic has resulted in travel restriction and reduced travel demand, which has led to a decrease in the number of visitors to the village. This has had a negative effect on the local tourism industry, as many businesses and individuals who rely on tourism for income have experienced a significant reduction in revenue. It is likely that many tourism-related businesses in the village, such as hotels, restaurants, and tour operators have been forced to close their operations. COVID-19 pandemic has had a significant impact on the tourism system in Pancho village. The tourism villages that are scattered throughout the Yogyakarta province have also not received tourist visits since March 2020. The auto occupancy rate in Yogyakarta province also dropped sharply, only reaching around 20%. As of the end of April 2020, it was recorded that 18,000 tourism actors in Yogyakarta had suffered losses of up to 240 billion rupiah. During the tourism closure period, most of the tourist villages used their time to improve their facilities. Referring to the health protocol proposed by the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, the tourist village community started to add facilities for tourists in accordance with the health protocol. One of the tourist villages that took advantage of this vacuum time is the Pancho Ecotourism Village in Sleman, Yogyakarta. In practical terms, from the third week of March 2020 until May 2021, the Pancho Ecotourism Village did not receive any tourist visits. According to Ngatijan, the head of the Pokdaris of the Pancho Ecotourism Village, the villagers used this time to work together to build some hand-washing facilities and prepare some media equipment to support the health protocols, such as thermoguns and hand sanitizers. In addition, the pandemic has also led to changes in tourist behavior and preferences, with many tourists seeking destinations that offer more outdoor and nature-based activities rather than crowded indoor attractions. Pancho Village, with its natural beauty and ecotourism focus, may be well positioned to attract such visitors, but this would require significant investment in infrastructure and marketing to effectively promote the village as a safe and attractive destination. These include measures such as mandatory mask wearing, social distancing requirements, increased sanitation and cleaning procedures, and contactless payment options. In addition, the village have also had to limit the number of visitors, maximum 50% per day, and reduce the capacity of tourism-related businesses and attractions to comply with the COVID-19 regulations. This may include implementing reservation systems, time entry tickets, and other measures to control the flow of visitors and avoiding overcrowding.
When the COVID started to an end, in order to rebuild and sustain its tourism industry, it is likely the Pancho village will need to be adapted to the post-pandemic era. One potential area of focus for the village is on promoting itself as a safe and sustainable destination for tourists and making the resilience. This could include continued investment in hygiene and safety protocols, as well as promoting the village's natural beauty and ecotourism activities as a way for visitors to connect with nature and improve their well-being. The village also needs to invest in new tourism infrastructure and services to meet the changing needs and preferences of post-pandemic travelers. For example, the village also have had to invest in new technologies or services to enable remote or virtual tourism experiences, such as online virtual tour,
in order to promote and convince tourists to come in person to the village.
In addition, Pancho Ecotourism Village utilized social media as a part of marketing to get a big target through their official website, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Adapting to COVID-19 regulation may have required significant changes and investment for the tourism system in Pancho Village, but it is likely that the community has prioritized the safety of visitors and residents in order to protect public health and maintain the long-term sustainability of the local tourism industry.
Hello, we are from Vietnam. It's glad for us to be here today as representatives of Hanoi University as well as Vietnam to bring you a topic on the theme sustainable tourism. And our particular topic is
Impact of COVID-19 on traditional cultures, a story of Tet celebrations in Vietnam.
Now let's clarify Tet and its meaning to Vietnamese people's life. Please take a quick look at these pictures. I hope they can give you some idea about what we're going to talk about. These pictures demonstrate some very distinctive characteristics of Vietnamese Lunar New Year, which is what we call Tết in Vietnamese. Tết marks the start of spring and the beginning of the Vietnamese New Year celebration. Like Xmas, the West, or Sugashu of Japan, Tết is the time for family. As an agricultural country, the ancient Vietnamese depended a lot on weather, so that's why Tết is in spring, the season of reproduction and development. And Tết is also the time when Vietnamese people wish for bountiful harvest, affluence, and sufficiency. However, due to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, many traditional customs are fading away, and therefore, today in this presentation, we'll go through the situation of Vietnamese celebration of Tết before and after COVID, and how changes are affecting its sustainability and of the custom. So how was Tết celebrated before COVID? Before COVID hit, that was one of the most amusing and enjoyable events throughout the year, and as being the biggest festival of Vietnamese people, Tết often lasts from 7 to 10 days. Therefore, people from laborers to students is packing their things to return to their hometowns, which causes a shortage and an increase in price by 60% for practically all means of transportation, including automobile, plane, and train. As a result, despite the concerns about work and study, many people still get the tickets for at least a week or even a month in advance to avoid high cost and congested condition. The atmosphere of faith increasingly thickens when people get ready to make offerings to the kitchen god day, which is a long-standing culture that symbolizes the farewell to all bad things in the old year and to help people welcome a new year of peace and fullness. Since that time, families members essentially just remain at home and they will make bánh chưng. It is a specialty of faith, and it carries traditional cultural values that endure with time, which requires the cooperation of all families members, from washing leaves, preparing rice, beans, wrapping cakes, and boiling them. Besides, all family members will join hands in cleaning and decorating the house. They will also shop for daily goods. And in the last day of the year, people will enjoy the Tân Niên meal, which is like the year-end meal in a lunar year. The first 3 days of Tết and the last days of the old year are the special occasion for people to gather, connect, and share after a year of hard labor through family gathering, going around and greeting relatives and friends with the best wishes, giving and receiving lucky money, doing worshipping rituals, and pleasing calligraphy. During that, a huge or even massive number of people will come to religious places like Temple of Kyoto to pray for a better year ahead, which generally cause an overloaded situation. For example, the 2019 Hương Pagoda Festival Organizing Committee reported that the Hương Pagoda relic welcomed more than 700,000 visitors. Although that was celebrated for only 7 days, its effect will usually last until the end of the month. Although not being considered as a good culture nowadays, the concept tháng riêng là tháng chơi, which roughly means that the first month of the lunar year is the time for celebration only and nothing else, still passing down through generations.
Okay, so now we move to part 3, change in post-COVID Tết celebrations. The COVID-19 pandemic left us with uncountable damage, and almost every aspect of life took the hit. And the way we celebrate our long-standing tradition is not an exception. After 2 years of COVID lockdown, many people's health has been gradually deteriorated. And to ensure the safety of their families and also earn extra income, which increased 3 times than during the Tết holiday, as you can see on the screen, many people choose not to return their home, but rather stay at the big city to work during the Tết. And in addition to the weakenings of their health, as well as economy, the development of internet and also digitalizations in the context of COVID has made many traditional ceremonies has transferred to the online form, like giving lucky monies or calling videos or watching religious activities, as well as shopping online. But the decline of traditional ceremony, as well as the need to return home during the Tết holiday, has been increased the travel during this time. And Vietnam had received a florid tourism season during Tết. Regarding the inbound tourism, there has been an increase in short travel from 3 to 4 days of nuclear families and single couples. And outbound tourism combined cultural experience to the country that celebrate Lunar New Year's, like Singapore, Bali, or Malaysia, has increased. The above countries are all heavily influenced by the Chinese cultures, as the immigrant population from China make up a significant role in the total populations of the country. And the main reason for the increase of tourists during this time mostly because of the tourist stimulate policies of the government in order to restore the economics in general and also the tourism industry in particular. And it seems that because of the lockdown during the COVID, people are unable to travel. Third, people tend to take advantage of the TED holiday to actualize their travel plans. The first impact of COVID-19 pandemic was on the disappearance or abolition of some unsuitable cultural traditions such as the gay firework or lifting the custom. So those traditional customs has been stand for more than 1,000 years, but no longer appropriate during the modern living. And for example, the fertility belief has now been transferred to an impolite method of sexual expressions. The elimination is not only happen with the big festival, but also in the small family rituals, ceremonies. As in the nature, TED is the chance for people to gathering and get together, but putting emphasis on the rituals such as having a banquet during the TED holiday become a burden. And so the chance of simplifying the worshipping procedure during the TED holiday is becoming more dominant. Okay, so now we move to the last part. Impact of those changes on the sustainability of the event. The more modern like it, the more anything changes. That is now different from the past, and many old customs are gone, and many new ones are come. Although it is not necessary that although change caused by COVID is negative, they do mean that we do not do the right thing to preserve the sustainability of one of the most valued events of the nations. So when it comes, it is important that the feelings of work with families and the joy of reunions of family members will remain in our mind. And as long as we ourselves can create a warm happiness with our families. Therefore, we believe that the way to preserve the culture's identity of the TED holiday is not always necessary to stays at home, but rather than in each person's heart, and always worshiping the ancestor and taking care of the loved one. And most important things is to preserve some nature holiday ritual so that the traditional culture's values are not going to lose. Alright, it's bring us to the end of our presentation. We hope that after this you will have an overview of our traditional TED celebrations and also our concerns when it comes to the sustainability of this event.
Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sachiko Kawakami. I'm teaching at the Department of Global Tourism, Faculty of Global Engagement, Kyoto University of Foreign Studies. The title of my today's presentation is Community Engagement as a Form of Sustainable Tourism. It is my great honor to have this opportunity to speak to you. I'm going to speak on behalf of the Department of Global Tourism. Here are my wonderful colleagues. Community Engagement Program is an educational program aimed at tackling, researching, and resolving issues outside of regular classrooms. It also focuses on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals defined by the United Nations by working with local communities in and outside of Japan. CEP has been set as a requisite course which all second-year students are required to take. The purpose of this presentation is not to endorse or promote our educational program. Rather, by sharing our case, I am hoping that it will open up for further discussions on the role of field tourism education in promoting sustainability in tourism. So here's a summary of our CEP. CEP is a field school program which has formed the core of our curriculum in the Faculty of Global Engagement, KUFS. It emphasized student participation in local communities. It is a required course for all second-year students. CEP usually takes place during the spring or summer break. This picture shows one of the activities of the CEP Kyoto City. The CEP Kyoto City emphasizes Japanese traditional craftsmanship, and as you can see in this photo, students have experienced making Japanese traditional knot tassels called kyo fusahimo. They are decorative items made with twisting silk and other threads together. You can see these knot tassels cores at various places in Japan, including good luck charms you can buy at Japanese shrines and temples. In some programs, like Echizen CEP, students spend their time on farms and rice fields. Others experience the livelihoods of a fisherman village, like Mihama, Yokohama, Wakayama. We do have overseas programs, and the CEP Guam is one of the popular programs among students. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the schedule for participation and the locations of students' fieldwork were subject to change, and we need to make constant adjustments, negotiations, and changes over the past few years. It led to cancellations of overseas trips, and we had increased domestic destinations. We do have a shift towards local community engagement in Kyoto City too. So in 2019, we had 4 overseas programs, including Malaysia, Australia, Guam, and Vietnam. But in the following year, 2020, we did not have any overseas programs anymore, and instead we had a more number of domestic programs. Here's a map of our domestic CEPs from 2019 to the present. From here, I'm going to share some of the student voices. A participant in online tour planning CEP in 2021 said, "We felt that online tours are a new and sustainable form of tourism, not only for the corona pandemic, but also for students who are financially unable to travel and for connecting with people from various countries." We did use online tools to connect with local communities. For example, at the Mihama 2021 CEP, we did collaborative international learning with Canadian University. A participant in Shibu Yudanaka CEP in 2020 said, "By actually living, working, and connecting with the local people, I was able to see better what Shibu Onsen is doing and what the local people are thinking, which tourists may not be able to see." For those who participated in Shibu Yudanaka and Kinosaki, their main activities was to work for traditional Japanese inns. And during their free time, they also did their own research. Here is the Yudanaka station. And at Kinosaki, they also has hot springs, and they're working for Japanese traditional inns as interns. One of the participants in Kinosaki CEP in 2021 said, "Our main focus was on local production and consumption, as well as food loss, but we were also interested in other aspects of sustainable tourism because of the support we received from companies that are actively involved in this area." Another student who participated in Kyoto Spiritual Tourism CEP in 2022 said, "I thought that shrines were related to tourism, the community, and the SDGs after listening to what the shrine staff had to say." The CEP Kyoto Spiritual was designed for students to deepen their understanding about Shinto shrines. They visited shrines and listened to shrine priests sharing their knowledge. They also made videos and area maps that included the Japanese shrines and nearby shops and cafes for tourists. So here are some students who are visiting shrines. Another student said, "Through CEP, we were able to think about the relationship between deer and tourism in Nara after hearing conflicting local opinions about deer as to forest conservation." So this is a picture that captures the activities in Nara, in the Nara CEP. We do have CEP programs scheduled for this year, 2023. We have 2 overseas programs, including Guam and Thailand. Also, we have 5 domestic programs at Kyoto City, Kinosaki, Shibuya-Naka, Spiritual Tourism in Kyoto, and Mihama Wakayama. Thank you very much for letting me share some of the student voices of our community engagement program. There are still flaws in the curriculum designs, and the management side of this program also has faced with many challenges to keep our field tourism education sustainable under this era of uncertainty and countless adjustments. Despite all that, I wanted to talk about our CEP today because I thought it could lead to chances of learning about your experience of field tourism education. The most significant long-term challenge facing rural areas in Japan is the issue of depopulation. As an anthropologist and field worker myself, I vision students' participation is a key ingredient to promote sustainability and autonomy in tourism for such disempowered communities. I look forward to having dialogues with you. Thank you very much.
Welcome to our pre-recorded presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, our talk today entitled Survival of Micro-Business and Tour Guides in Post-COVID World. And the case study is in World Heritage Site of Georgetown, Penang and Perhentian Island, Terengganu, Malaysia. We are master students in tourism development from School of Housing, Building and Planning, University Science, Malaysia. As you can see in this slide, we consist of 4 team members of multi-ethnics from Malaysia and China. This task is assisted by Dr. Surayati. Hope you enjoy our video presentation. Let's begin.
Hello everyone, this is Wang Fang. You may call me Ino. Now we are in Georgetown, Penang, Malaysia, a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. We are master students from University Science Malaysia, and my major is tourism development. I'm Cindy. Hello.
Hi, I'm Basra. Today we are following our local guide, who's also a member of the local community, to interview small business owners who are the living heritage of Georgetown City. and on how they sustain their business post-pandemic.
Assalamualaikum. Peace be upon you. How's everyone today? I wish everybody are doing great. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Fairuz bin Sa'ad. I'm from Pulau Pinang, Malaysia, or known as Penang. Well, currently I'm studying Master Science in Tourism Planning by research at University Science Malaysia, Penang. And I'm also a Malaysian tourist guide by profession.
Hello everyone.
Here are the contents for the presentation. We will start our presentation by giving an overview of global tourism trends and how the tourist arrival has impacted the tourism industry. Then, we will showcase the uniqueness of World Heritage Site of Georgetown, Penang, and the outstanding values in World Heritage Sites that we need to sustain and preserve. In order to understand the survival of micro business and tour guides in post-COVID situation, we observe and interview them. The UNWTO has provided statistics on tourist arrivals over the years. The year of 2020 witnessed a dramatic drop of international tourist arrivals, as much as 90% off. In 2021, the trends recovered slowly, but the number of international tourists only reached half the level in 2019. Hopefully, it was estimated that the figure can climb up to 70% by UNWTO. As shown in the map, obviously, the Asia-Pacific region is in crucial situation. The changes as compared to 2019 is a significant drop by 83% in September 2022, whereas in other continents also shown the drop, but not as high as Asia-Pacific. Pertaining to previous issue, here show the percentage of recovery in blue columns. Asia Pacific is showing only 17% recovered, and we still need time for full recovery. The factor contributing to this figure is due to the restriction of movement order and border closing for many countries in Asia Pacific. Georgetown is the capital city of Penang State in the northern peninsula, Malaysia. The oldest part of this city center has been entitled as a UNESCO World Heritage Site on the 7th July 2008. As it is strategically located along the Straits of Malacca, this city served as a free port for the British since 1786, which then attracted merchants mainly from China, Europe, and India. This resulted in multi-ethnic society that is still prevalent today with their rich intangible cultural heritage. The unique architecture of the pre-war buildings are proof of diversity in this post-colonial town. Till today, many colonial shop houses for the living heritage continue to serve their customers. The joint inscription of Malacca and Georgetown, the historic cities of the Straits of Malacca as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, was based on the outstanding universal value under criteria 2, 3, and 4. Living heritage or living culture of Georgetown refers to the skills, traditions, practices, knowledge, expressions, and representations that are inherited from our ancestors and passed on to our descendants. They are the craftsmen, traders, and artisans who have worked effortlessly to perfect their trade over the decades while serving the locals and tourists alike.
Hi everyone, my name is Tiger. My actual name in Chinese is known as Kyoto, and I'm a licensed tourist guide here in Georgetown, Penang. Hi everyone, my name is Tiger.
also a tourist guide to Paris. He did other temporary jobs to sustain life. As a Pentecost, Mr. Kyo is not only familiar with every nook and corner of the island, but he is also well versed in many stories behind the intangible cultural heritage of Penang. He believes there is more for Penang than her beaches, parks, and buildings. It's the people and their stories that will form a deeper connection. Besides, he is striving to encourage locals and tourists alike to support micro businesses in a town for them to sustain. Also, he organized community tours to enhance their recognition and pride for its members. Then, he donated the tour fund to the community, so-called from the community and back to the community. He believes tourism is not just tourists coming in, but also local communities knowing how good their places are. These micro businesses may have been established more than 100 years ago, but they remain competitive today because they can embrace change for tomorrow. But how can they survive after the enormous impact by the pandemic? Our team conducted interviews with some business owners. The first stop is Chopstick Shop. The last chopstick maker, also the living heritage in Penang, Mr. Lee passed away 3 years ago, and his son took over the business. Unfortunately, the son died a couple of months ago. Now his wife managed the business, even if she was not familiar with it. So her young daughter is involved and changed a little bit of the business mode after the pandemic.
Online. Customer from KL, Singapore.
So they are doing
shop
delivery.
or what? Or just maybe contact you?
They contact me.
So they contact
So
them.
you help to make the
Last time my dad was
website.
here, so he was doing. I helped him to post all the items. So right now my dad is not available, so now I'm taking over the.
I see.
Yeah.
Digitalization,
So now it's all
Selling online.
So
So
you
when
didn't post your shop on some online shops like
maybe in
shop
the future, trying slowly.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Mang Bing Porridge and Cafe shop sustained over 80 years. Even if the shop was difficult to survive during the pandemic, the owner still insists in donating the surplus food to people in need and makes contributions to the community.
Family coffee. This is made by my mother. And it contains 11 types of herbs and majority is dry ginger.
Dry ginger.
about 50% in fact.
Sekarang baru dapat 50% lah.
Now still recover back to 50% now.
Boleh cover tapi dia tak sepenuhnya tapi masih boleh cover balik. Bolehlah cover 50%.
About 50% in fact.
To sustain the business, the shop introduced variety of fruit flavors, for example, pineapple, honeydew, jackfruit on top of their existing strawberry and mocha flavors. It became a hit among their customers. In total, they have made about 15 types of handmade chocolate. Besides, they participated in food exhibition and a road show to create awareness about the uniqueness of their products to the customers, which in return increased their sales. Also, they plan to have their own factory in the near future to expand their business to a bigger scale. Our next study area is the Perhentian Island in Terengganu, Malaysia.
I am Hababa binti Yusuf selling original cut ice cream in Perhentian Island. I have been in this business for 5 years. Before the MCO sales were good. MCO sales plunged 200%. Use money from existing savings. Food assistance 8 times a month. Food provided such as milk, Pampers, rice, chicken and fish.
Before MCO, the business was very good. During MCO the business went turn upside down. We opened a cafe on the island at first place to cater those who were trapped on the island. After that I run cook from home food on mainland to survive. Food supports were given such as biscuits, rice, eggs and cooking oil. Before
To summarize our presentation, microbusiness in Georgetown can sustain through passing down the intangible heritage, adopting digitalization, and including various experiential activities to increase tourists' revisit intention. Business owners in Penhill Islands relied on their savings and support from government and NGOs. Caring community members can enhance their recognition and pride of their community. Most importantly, sustainability is not just one's visit, but the connection between the destination and the people by embracing local diverse cultures. Here is our group, and our members are led by Dr. Surayati. That is all for our presentation. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Regional Support Office for Asia and the Pacific of UN World Tourism Organization, I am pleased to extend a closing remark of the first day of the fourth Future Tourism Leaders Workshop. My name is Chiaki Oya, Deputy Chief of Regional Support Office for Asia and the Pacific. I hope you enjoyed the symposium and the virtual tour making workshop today. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to all participants, especially those who made presentations in the symposium from Chiang Mai University, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Hanoi University, Kyoto University of Foreign Studies, University of Science Malaysia, and the Suvarnabhumi University, and the lecturers who supervised them. This is such a great international network of academic institutions on tourism. I'm impressed by these great presentations that vividly conveyed how COVID-19 affected the traditional festivals and the forms of travel and travel businesses of each country and how they have adapted it and survived it. I also would like to extend my appreciation to peer organizers, Kyoto University of Foreign Studies and the Japan International Cooperation Agency, especially Professor Eric of KUFS, for your great effort in preparing the virtual tour making workshop. This is the first Future Tourism Leaders Workshop, but it is the first time we have conducted it in this online format, including video presentation by students from Thai, Indonesia, Vietnam, Japan, Malaysia, and Laos PDR. and a virtual tour making workshop. The theme of this year's Future Tourism Leaders Workshop is Sustainable Tourism in the Post-COVID World. Digitalization, including virtual tours, is definitely one of the key issues for the recovery, as already indicated in some of the presentations. We believe that the virtual tours will also contribute to sustainable tourism because it has a lot of potentials. Of course, simply replacing actual travel to virtual travel does not generate much economic benefits for destinations. Rather, we can exploit virtual tours so that they make virtual visitors want to actually visit the place, physically experience the activities, and taste and local food and drink. We believe that the virtual tours can also contribute to social culture and environmental sustainability through the power of storytelling, as Eric Sensei highlighted, that encourage responsible and sustainable behavior, such as the power of storytelling makes online visitors deeply aware of the culture, history, and nature before the actual travel. The power of storytelling can also promote dispersing the travel demand to the hotspots and during the peak seasons by showing travelers broader choices of spots and the beauty of peak seasons. Enabling online visitors to purchase local products and handicrafts directly from online shop might also bring economic benefit to the region. In turn, it will contribute to the economic sustainability. Connecting local people and the potential travelers online is also expected to promote actual and more frequent visit to the place. Tomorrow, we will share the finalized version of virtual tours that each of you created today with each other and choose the best virtual tour from each group. Are you excited? In this workshop, you did create a short demonstration of online tour, but this is not just for the learning technical of making online tours. We hope this experience will be the first step in your involvement in sustainable tourism using digital technology and the power of storytelling in real world. We sincerely hope the Future Leaders Workshop will be beneficial to all of you. Thank you for your participation today and see you tomorrow.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, friends and peers and colleagues, that was the last presentation in our series for our first part of this two-day event co-sponsored, co-organized by the Kyoto University of Foreign Studies, JICA, and the UNWTO. We just finished our first symposium. We hope that you were able to join the conversation in our online chats. And from now, we're going to be taking a break for lunch and then joining our students in a live session in Zoom to learn about virtual tourism and the future of tourism through emerging technologies like augmented reality and artificial intelligence. But we invite you, even if you're not a part of that Zoom workshop, you can join us tomorrow right here on YouTube to see what our students have created during these sessions. They're going to be creating virtual and augmented tours of their hometown to experience and to share what it's like to be a tourist in these areas without actually needing to travel. So we invite you back for that. And as always, you can join us at chat.tomorrowtourism.com to join the conversation and to give more comments on the videos that you saw here today. Thanks again for watching. If you're online, we hope to see you tomorrow. If you're one of the student participants, we'll see you after lunch in Zoom. Bye for now. you.